Hey guys, it's Matt, or you may know me as Milks, and this is my podcast. So what's it all about? Well, I'm just your average 40-something dad that loves to game and talk tech, as well as relate with the stresses of modern day life. So come on in, grab a drink, and listen as we cover topics, stories, and welcome some of my fellow gaming parents on the show. Thank you for listening, and don't forget, please drop a follow, it's very much appreciated. Hello everyone, and welcome to podcast 2, season 2 of the Dadcast, and I am very, very pleased to invite a great fellow dad on tonight. This is someone I've been talking to for a very long time. I'd be surprised if you don't know him on Instagram, but if you don't, you will by tonight, and I will be posting his links. This is a very talented guy. He's definitely an alpha dad, but also someone that is very creative in building PCs, building gaming setups, photographing gaming setups fantastically well. Has done a lot of collaborations this year, got a lot of his own stuff going on. He's been focusing a lot on YouTube and creating great videos. He's also just really funny and just likes to shoot the shit like I do. So hopefully after this one tonight, you make a new friend. So I'm going to introduce my fellow Instagrammer, dad, gamer, tech lover, PC builder. The first person to do the hexagonal walls, we'll go into that in a minute. This is Ryan, or you may know him as PC Battle Stations. Welcome, Ryan, and thank you to my podcast.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for reading the script that I paid you to say word for word. Thanks.
Well, you know, I had to read over it about 10 times. I think we know.
You're like, no, lie, but I paid you, so you got to stick with the script.
Redacted.
Yeah.
Redacted. So no, honestly, thank you for joining me. And it
No
feels
problem.
like this is definitely long overdue. I mean, it feels like we were having these conversations 6 months ago before it was even a podcast was even a glint in my father's eye. We were talking about getting together and talking more and doing this sort of stuff because we kind of hit it off a long time ago, and then just COVID and life got in the way, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about all kinds of collabs back in January, I remember. So even before COVID, and then, yeah, just being a dad, everything that we got going on. We were talking about that, earlier. It's just life, just there's so much stuff we got going on, and it's all good stuff. It's just, sometimes I need to clone myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people will probably agree. They wish they had additional help.
I mean, like I was saying off camera, getting comments from other dads is a really big thing for me, because this is a different angle. It's the same thing as what I do on Instagram, but from a slightly different angle, where you kind of invite people into your craziness. Because as we say, social media accounts often is the pretty glossy side of your life. People just see that you post amazing PC pictures, so they automatically assume you're a millionaire and you've got PCs to give away. And, life is just perfect and things like that. And, no different for probably my account. People think I'm very wealthy and things like that, but it's just hard graft. And you kind of muddle your way along and level up as you go. But the reality is, someone said this on stream the other day. I can't remember who it was, but we're like swans. We look very pretty above the water, but underneath the water, our legs are just going.
Yeah, exactly.
We're struggling, like anyone else does. So don't think don't think our lives are perfect. They are, almost perfect. But we got our kids, we got our health, we've got our family, we got our house, so roof over our heads. There is much more that we could be complaining about, but by no means is it easy.
No, exactly. That's a perfect analogy too. Just we're just constantly struggling to stay afloat, or we're keeping, swimming, just keep going, keep moving, just pointing the boat in the direction. And it's all good though.
But I think we're victims of our own ambitions, really, because, we would complain if we weren't doing anything. But equally,
exactly.
It's finding that happy balance. So let's move on to projects, because you're one of my first guests that have a very busy creative mindset, in so much that you are constantly doing your own projects, collab projects, in particular around PC setups and PC builds. Whereas a lot of my fellow creators may be less about building the PCs as opposed to buying them and creating this environment in their home and creating the RGB vibe and things like that. Whereas you actually are skilled at building from the roots up.
Yeah, exactly. So, and so it kind of happened. It's kind of weird, it's like you said, leveling up, kind of at the dad level, like I'm level 42. So as I've come to this point, I've had a couple of houses, and so I've had an accumulation of tools. I've gained knowledge I'm a big DIYer. So I like to learn things and do things myself rather than pay someone double or triple the cost for the labor and all that stuff. And I have people around me too, like my father-in-law, that's able to like pretty much build a house. So I got good people that are able to give me advice on what needs to be done. So I learned a lot of tricks along the way. So fortunately, I've used those skills. And I work in IT. I've been in IT for like 20 years or something, and got a degree in computer science and bachelor's of business administration with IT or information systems. So I got that DIYer and I got that IT love, gaming and these setups and PC builds. And so just combine that all into one. And I'm just able to recently, like within the past couple of years, realize, hey, I'm kind of good at this. Like
it's an incredible combo. Like if you were creating a video game character and you had to go into the menu to kind of pick your attributes, those are two pretty strong ones together. IT for 20 years and a mad DIYer.
Yeah.
And that brings us onto your wall, because let's start with that, because it seems like that for me has now exponentially exploded on Instagram, and I can't see those panels anywhere else. But I had to track down the point in time I think you did it, which I think was, well, the picture that I saw was June 2019, but it may be longer.
Yeah, so that's when I remember. Yeah, that's when I started doing the setup, and the beginning of summer, June 2019, and then before that, obviously, I was planning it and bought it, and by the time I actually did the video, it came out in June. But yeah, I even built this setup before that. The video started, so I built the setup and recorded everything, and then sat down, and then I started editing all the videos. So by the time it hit public was around June 2019. And at the time, there's only one guy that I remember seeing on Reddit that actually had the wall. And I was like, no way. Like I got this on my wall too. And then, like now you can't, you can scroll, and then it seems like every setup at least have some sort of 3D wall panel on them in some shape. So they're all over the place now. And then, I mean, I don't care. They look cool. It brings some sort of 3D dimension to the wall, and it looks really cool.
It does. I mean, I'm really not one that is fussed at all if people want to copy or be inspired by something I've created. I remember having I had to be a kind of an arbitrator between two accounts who were saying she's copied me, and it's just like, who cares? Like if someone, the way they say imitation is the biggest form of flattery.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think the fact that you've spawned. And clearly it has come from you, because we're all in similar circles, and you posted it, joined royalty, posted the picture out, we put it out, and then suddenly lots of royalty members have it. It can't be coincidence. So it's always great to be a front runner in a look or a trend or inspire people enough to go, I'm going to do that. And because those panels are very much a DIY job, I wouldn't think you'd get someone in to do those. They're not particularly difficult. Yours is probably a little bit more so because you've had to router around for the plugs and the hidden cables and things like that. But if you're just sticking it with nothing behind it or cutting round it, they're quite lightweight. Stick it on the wall, measure it out, obviously, and it creates a wonderful effect behind a PC.
Yeah, I think having an accent wall in your setup is important, because it gives it that more of a pop. Everyone can have the same old setups, the same desk and all that stuff. But I think you could take your setup to the next level, I think, with an accent wall.
Well, I'd love to get yours in black.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think let's see here. I remember seeing something. They're not common, but where did I see them at? I don't know if it was AliExpress or something, because I actually thought about because I know there's somewhere in China that obviously mass produces these stuff. And I saw gray and I saw black, but they're PVC. So really they're just plastic. I mean, you could just spray them. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Spray paint. It's easy.
I think that would be quite nice. And you'd get the different kind of light bounce on a black one compared to a white, but I'm not allowed to do anything to the dining room anymore.
I think you've overtaken that.
I've reached the limit. Although it's not my room, It may as well be, but I think the thing is, my kids are getting to an age now, and I think your daughter is a similar age to Daisy. Daisy's 5 now. Is your daughter a little bit
Zoe's
older?
7.
Yeah, she's a little bit older. So, I would say they are both at an age now where they are proficient with computers. Well, Daisy's certainly picked it up very quick since she's jumped on my computer rig. She's playing Among Us. She's playing
Oh, is she? Nice.
Minecraft. She loves Roblox. She's all over that. But just watching her with a keyboard, it's like, wow, you're 5.
Yeah.
And you can do the old WASD, and you're doing the left hand's panning, right hand's kind of tilting, and using the mouse as well. And it blows my mind, but they just absorb it.
Oh yeah, they pick it up quick that early. When they're that young, and they can learn it. I can imagine. Give her another 10 years, like how far she's going to come. Because I see the same thing. How fluent or how proficient she is working a computer already. It's crazy because my daughter plays a lot of Roblox too, and every once in a while, she'll be like, "Hey, Daddy, how do you spell this word?" When she's trying to chat with people or something like that. It's kind of funny. And then watch her typing it, and then like handling the mouse and the keyboard. She also plays with the controller, and she's killing it. And it's like, man, you're doing good.
So I feel proud.
Make a dad. Yeah, proud.
I'm crying. For once.
Gaming.
For once, that's not a sad tear. That's a happy tear right there.
No, and every once in a while I'll join her in Roblox, but it's pretty childish. So I try to get her into like some of the other games like Halo. I want to get her into Halo.
Yeah.
I've tried to get her into some other games and stuff, but she's loving Roblox right now. She's addicted to that game.
It is addictive. And it's funny that you talk about getting into it because she loves this fashion one. And you have to go around and choose your outfits and they'll give you a theme. So there was this theme the other day and she's quite perceptive of, she'll ask me, Daddy, what does this phrase mean? And I think it was one that was kind of mean dude or something like that.
Okay.
And she's like, what does that mean? I was like, well, like a tough guy, like a bad guy. He's like, got to look like a bad guy. And she ran around and she built this guy in Roblox, which was tattoos, spiky hair, mean expression on his face. He was hench. And I was like, you've nailed it. You've nailed that. You're going to, Then they go on this fashion parade and everyone's got to vote for whoever nailed the look. And all these other ones came out. And I was like, no, that's not it. And there was like princesses coming out and all sorts. So I was like, you've got this in the bag. And I was getting really into it. I was like, you definitely got this in the bag. And then she walked out with a muscular kind of bad guy. And the first 3 were princess on the stage. And I proper got angry. I was like, no, you won that. You won that. You did the mean dude. Everyone else didn't get the brief. But I think the thing is, it's kids voting for what they like to see. And they didn't read mean dude. They just went out and picked what they like. And the other kids like princesses. So I was like, look, don't take that to heart. You won Daddy's prize on that one.
She nailed it.
You nailed it.
Good job.
There you go. Have some whiskey.
Nice. Here's your reward.
Yeah, so it's crazy. But it's been, I was saying off camera, it's been a hard day today. The kids didn't go to sleep. It's very tiring. So like it's 11:15 in the UK here. So for you, this is your business day. So you're working from home, I'm presuming right now?
Yep, still working from home thanks to COVID. Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Since March, yes. Wow. So, and even when we go back, I don't even know. If it's I think with everyone, I don't think it's going to be the same. Usually, before COVID, I would work from home 1 day a week. Now it might even be flip flopped. I'm fortunate to be able to. I don't even have to step foot in the office. I could work remote full time, and it might be the majority going forward, even when everything kind of gets back to normal, hand quotes, whatever that's going to be. If everything does go back to normal, I still think I'll probably work from home majority of time. So it'll be interesting to see once everything gets back to a somewhat normal, how that's going to change people's, work from home. Are they going to work from home more? I've heard businesses, are getting rid of their, downsizing the actual footprint they have in actual buildings and stuff like that, because they realize, yes, people can do this from home and all that stuff. So.
I think this has been a gross experiment. And in a lot of ways, it's told us that we don't need, like you said, these big grotesque offices where everyone's packed in these cubicles and things. You can probably halve that and get people to rotate from home and things, provided obviously people are disciplined enough to do it from home. And even if they're not disciplined, there's not too many distractions, because I am neither disciplined nor do I have no distractions. So you put those two together and it's like, yeah, I'm not getting a lot done today. The phone's ringing and I'm in the other room, obviously doing something with the kids or whatever. So yeah, I don't think it would be a forever thing for me. At the moment, we're doing one day in the office on rotation between the staff. So, at least I get a day away from the madness, but I definitely couldn't do this from home forever unless I got a proper room, not the dining room.
Yeah. And I think that's what's nice for me. I, actually had an office at the end of the house kind of. So yeah, I can kind of get away. And this is kind of like my little sanctuary instead of like being in the dining room. Or I know a lot of people are like in their bedroom. That would be hard for me. Waking up, going into the other, into the corner of your bedroom and being in your bedroom all the time.
In your underwear.
Tough. Yeah, underwear. Yeah, it's commando day, so
drinking at 4 p.m.
optional. Yeah,
it would be like National Lampoon. It'd be Uncle Russell, wouldn't it? With the Winnebago. That's what I would be in a year's time of
Uncle Eddie, Cousin Eddie,
Cousin Eddie,
Cousin Eddie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shitter's full.
Shitter's full. Yeah, I love that guy.
That's such a good film. It's such a good film. So tell us about like a most recent project. Obviously, we are putting this on YouTube now. Obviously, all the podcasts are on YouTube. So if people are listening to this on Spotify, you might have to go to YouTube to see this beauty. Not only the beauty we're talking to, Ryan, but the beauty behind him, which is the Cyberpunk Edition PC build that you recently posted on your Instagram account.
Yes. So all the stuff that I have going on, is that what you asked?
Yeah. What's the secret behind the Samurai build? What was it for?
Oh, that was for the Cyberpunk. Yeah, the setup. So that case was actually modded by a good guy on Instagram, Jason fucking Hammersticks.
Yep.
And then sponsored by Deep Cool. So that case and the fans and PSU, whatever, was all sent to him for free. He modded the case, which was awesome. Did a great job. And then he sent it after he modded it. And then I put it all together, water cooled it and stuff. And then added it I did a whole Cyberpunk theme down in my guest room. Obviously during COVID, no one's staying with us, and kind of took it over as my other, since I didn't want to, do anything on my main setup. I kind of took over the guest room, and I had a blank wall, and I built a wall for Cyberpunk that looked like a big cement blocks, because I saw that in their Twitter feed. Every time they'd post some things, they'd have a big kind of a rustic cementy feel, cement block feel. And then I got an old metal desk that was beat up. That was perfect, because I saw that in a lot of game play, that a lot of the office scenes or the desk scenes, they had like old metal or just metal desks basically. So I kept it just kind of like a metal desk. I kind of like put some graphics on top a little bit, and then made it look, some of them had walled ultra wides and some other monitors. Basically, I tried to capture the setup from watching gameplay. And and that was a lot of fun. And that's kind of what I enjoy. I like, doing setups, like inspiring people. You mentioned that earlier. It's nice to be able to inspire people and do what I love, and at the same time inspire other people. And then people can get ideas from, just the things that I think of. And same, when I watch people or look at Instagram or YouTube and anything else, anything that I'm watching or seeing or hearing, I get inspiration. And
well, we're like creative sponges, aren't we? So it's cool that you've had a room to be able to do that in, because if I'm not mistaken, you also then followed it up with a Black Panther theme and built a wall with RGB behind it and built this amazing throne desk.
Yeah, thanks. Black Panther was actually first. What happened is we were planning Cyberpunk way back, man. We were almost a year, like back in January, February, whatever it started, a lot of the hype started coming out, or it's been hyped for a couple, years, but seemed to be, man, that we planned that thing for almost like 10 months. And then with the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman, I just, for some reason, it inspired me to build a Black Panther setup. And so, I did that. So watching the movie, so I would do a lot of research. I think that's what takes a lot of time, is just doing the research to try and, nail that. What a setup would actually look like, trying to compass, so you watch the movie and I got kind of a pattern that I saw everywhere. And so I built a wall I thought would look cool. I floated it off the wall about 2 inches. So I put LEDs behind it, so it would kind of glow. It would be really cool. And then the desk, I didn't know what I was going to do, but then the throne I thought would be really cool to kind of incorporate the throne look in this desk, and I thought it came out pretty well. Took a lot longer than expected. It's kind of hard, like what you said, with everything we got going on.
Yeah.
Full-time job, kids, just life in general, and all kinds of other things. To try and actually complete that desk, that'll take a long time, but I think it turned out well. And then, just the PC turned out really well. So that was fun. It was a great build. And then, unfortunately, that one was extremely quick turn because I tried squeaking that in.
Yep.
Cyberpunk, thank God, was actually delayed, kept getting delayed to my benefit because I was able to squeak that Black Panther in real quick. And then I quickly had to tear it down and put Cyberpunk back up. So I wish I would have actually enjoyed Black Panther a little bit more. But I made that Black Panther wall modular. So I made it in 4 sections that was easily able to remove it. And then so I'll be able to put it back on to have that accent wall I was kind of talking about when I do my other setups to kind of, change the lighting, use something else and just have it as an accent wall when I do build these other setups. I think it's going to be fun.
That's a cool thing to have. I mean, if you don't need to give away any secrets. So have you got another project in the pipeline? Have you got something that you're working on?
Yeah. So I have there is on this keyboard right here, might give you a little hint.
Oh, hello.
Mandalorian is kind of what I'm thinking because I love the series. Nice. It's an amazing series.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I obviously, just in case people haven't obviously seen the ending, we won't give away any kind of clues or secrets, but it was good, right? It was kind of old fashioned Star Wars. That's what it felt like. It's like going all the way back to the beginning and kind of like, getting rid of the CGI, the reliance on too much CGI and going back to props and going back to costumes and uniforms and bare bones. And I think it worked. It worked really well.
It did. And I think, what did Jon Favreau, did he write or direct it? Or
he directed it. I think.
Yeah. And I think he's, doing a good job on that.
He's a good director.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think they did an excellent job with the writing, just nailed it, and so big inspiration, a big Star Wars fan. So yeah, a lot of things going on. Like that's just one of the ideas that I have is a Mandalorian themed setup. And then just talking with some of the other Star Wars, like I want to do some other Star Wars themed setups. So you'll see a lot of stuff. This is just the beginning. There you go.
Speaking of which,
yes,
I'm definitely a big fan. This shameless plug here. This is obviously by EXG Pro, but this is heavy, man. Like this is a really kind of nice Mando prop because I've got the Yoda in the other room, which I use for the Xbox controller, but it's like half the weight of this. I love heavy stuff. Normally means quality, right?
Yeah,
but it's got a lovely kind of like that metal kind of looking for. Well, I've got a manual focus, so it's not going to focus, so I'll put that over there.
That's awesome.
But it's really, really nice. But I don't even use it to put a controller on. I just like to have it as a bust.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
it'd be really nice. That would be really cool in like a Lian Li with all that space, and you just have Mando sat in there. Would be really, really cool. That would be awesome. And you were one of the first people I saw with a Lian Li case. Obviously, you had a really clean build, and it definitely was one of my inspirations when I bought the Lian Li, which I've had for a while, and now it's kind of getting a bit of a bad rap that it's become a bit common.
Yeah, it has. I mean, especially, it's all over the place, but I mean, for good reason. It's a beautiful case. And I don't even care if it's all over the place.
No, I don't either.
It's just beautiful.
I think it's, as someone who is not maybe as experienced, skilled, or technically capable, it's quite an easy case to build in.
Oh yeah, it's plenty of room. It's meant for kind of doing a nice custom loop water cooling. There's a lot of things you can do. It's very spacious, and I love the dual tempered glass. You can see everything you got going on there. It's a beautiful case and very easy to build in, and excellent quality. Like that's why I love all Lian Li products. Is they have that as their probably their number one is quality. Because I've built in other cases, and I'm just like this just is not. Yeah, does not have the quality, but Lian Li, every time I touch a Lian Li case or any kind of product, it's just, you can feel the quality. There's
no difficulty in installation in terms of space. So that's the second build I did. Very nice case, very attractive. I posted it on my Instagram the other day. It looked incredible, but it was a real hard one. There wasn't much finger room. It was very kind of finicky, difficult to build. And I didn't get that with the Lian Li, which is, again, it looks good, but I think people buy it for more than looks. It's got a good reputation. It's value for money. It's easy to build. And I'll be very interested. Flux Games, who obviously is on our Instagram as well, Owen.
Yep.
He's just got the new. Is it? Do they call it the MIDI?
The mini.
The mini rather than the MIDI. And I saw a picture of it, and he's dragging one out. Has he got one?
Still
He's
in the
got
box.
one. Nice.
And got another one. Well, you don't need to see it. What happened? Yeah, I got
nice.
two of them.
He's got two.
Here's the problem. I love it. I love Lee and Lee products. Love the O11D O11D, and then I didn't know whether or not I wanted to build in the black and the white one. I do a lot of PC builds, and so I had a hard time deciding which one. I was like, you know what? Buy both of them.
Yep, nice. Nice. It surprised me that it didn't look as small compared to the ones we've got. It's like an inch or so less height. And they've moved the USBs on the top as opposed to front facing, but it still looks like a decent sized case. So I was expecting to maybe be a tad smaller. Yeah.
There's a lot you can do it in still, and a lot you can do in it still, because you'd think like a mini, it would be probably like a small build, like small form factor, mini ITX, smaller motherboard. But yeah, from what I've seen too, and from what I've read and actually what I'm going to do in it, it can still hold 9 fans. Yeah. I'm still going to water cool it. It's like, man, there's still plenty of room in that.
There's loads in there. And it looks really nice. So I'll be very excited to see what you're about to do in those.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yep. So outside of gaming, obviously people know that we're gamers, dads and stuff. What's your routine look like at the moment to get all this content creation done and look after the family and do everything else and fit it in?
Well, what I think helps is me and the wife have a schedule. I think it all stemmed with her wanting to watch stuff that I didn't want to watch on TV. So normally before, like she would, we'd hang out, there'd be no kind of schedule, just like whatever. I'd work, come home, and we'd cook dinner, and but whatever. Yeah, and so like she started watching these shows I didn't really care about, and then I wanted to game, obviously. So I was like, okay, cool. Here's a perfect opportunity. So, and so, long story short, we got so basically we did a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday nights. Yep. After the little one goes to bed, so around 8 p.m. She would go and do her thing, and then I would go and do my thing. And so I would just get whatever needs to be done Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and I could schedule whatever needs to get done, content, video, whatever needs to get done. So I think that helps, is having a planned schedule so I can, get all these things and plan accordingly. And then also on the weekends, I think communication is huge. You got to talk with your spouse on, here's what I got going on. Is it okay if I take, like the afternoon on a Saturday? I'm actually starting to stream a little bit more on the weekends and stuff. So communication is like, is it okay? Do we have anything going on? Cool. Can I schedule something on a Saturday? I know I try, to have some family time. The majority of the time I give to her, like hanging out 4 nights out of the week, and then I'll, the weekends and stuff like that. But
I think that's a really good way to explain to some people that maybe are struggling with it and know what to do. Communication is everything, right? And my wife doesn't like any of this. I'm not sure what yours is like, but my wife doesn't play games. She doesn't understand games. She's got to a point where she tolerates it, and we both have our own vices. So hers is fitness equipment, gym equipment, constantly buying different Lycra outfits to run in, work out in, and stuff like that. So it's nice that she's now got a vice, because I'm able now to go, well, now you get it. Yeah. You are obsessed with fitness and working out and running. She's training for a marathon. She's doing all that. And it's kind of become a bit obsessive, and it's kind of taken over. So I'll be like, should we do this? And she's like, oh, no, I've got to get a workout in. I'm like, really? Like like even today, I was like, you've just come off a night shift. Yeah. You've got no sleep. We're going to go for a walk with the girls, which is normally a couple of miles we'll do every other day. And then you want to come in and do a HIIT workout to Joe Wicks, which is like a big UK kind of fitness celebrity on the TV. So put it on YouTube, do a joke, and she'll be in the lounge sweating it out. And I'm like, you're just obsessive. And now I'm like, okay. So that's what I'm like. So we do have that kind of symbiosis of like, you've got your thing, I've got my thing, but it can't just be, you can't just shut them out and say, I'm doing my thing tonight. I think you're right. You've got to kind of prepare them. It's like, I've tried to time my podcasts around when she's working, because I don't want distractions. And equally, I don't like being listened to when I'm doing these, which is ironic given that we're going to put this out to whoever wants to. But when it's your wife, you're like, I don't want her to listen to it because I want to have that kind of expressive freedom. But there's still other nights where I'm like, sweetie, I need to get these photos done for this company that are expecting this. And as long as you say it a few days in advance, it kind of has, it's almost fair that you're giving pre-warning. So
Exactly.
that works for me. It clearly works for you. So anyone that's out there kind of, maybe is getting a bit of heat from the missus, or if you're a female watching this and the, your partner or significant other doesn't get it, then maybe just start laying it out in advance and start working out a bit of a schedule. And, I'm not saying go as far as put it on a calendar, but if it works, it works.
I just communicate, it's worked, because rather than just saying, oh, what are you doing? You're like, why'd you plan this? I have this to do, and just impromptu, like telling them I'm busy, I can't hang up. So yeah, communicating. Just there's always exceptions to, the schedule that we have. When you say you have something, you're busy and stuff, but yeah, communication is huge in a marriage. And to get stuff like our stuff done and to try to keep content going. Yeah, the missus definitely needs a heads up, and vice versa. If she's doing something, we try to plan the day, next couple of days. And so that's key.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
Your YouTube, how's that going?
It's going well. Yeah, it's growing. It's pretty good. There's always things that I can improve on. I need to get better at some things to kind of keep it growing. I have a lot of ideas. I'm only one man though. That's what kind of like says, get so many ideas and so many things going on. It's hard to follow through with the ideas, and record. And YouTube is very hard. I mean, it's totally time consuming.
It really is. I mean, that's the one where I kind of start and think, do I want to keep doing it? Because you're probably like me. If you want to do something, you want to do it well.
Oh yeah, quality is number one.
Yeah, you don't want to just half-ass it. And
no.
The downside of that is sometimes you're your own worst nightmare, because you stop yourself from getting content out because you're not satisfied with it. So it's a really difficult kind of double-edged sword of not getting enough content out because you're being overcritical of yourself, and then getting too much content out because you just think it's, just get quantity out there. And it's a really tough one to do. It actually really helped me watching Spawn Point's video on YouTube the other day. I don't know if you know Chris from Instagram, but he is big on the kind of the home lounge gaming setup. It's not PC related, but it's more kind of Mac work from home, big gaming kind of setup in the lounge, OLED TV, all that sort of stuff. But he's also got a Tesla car, and his content is probably split 50-50 between gaming, work from home, and Tesla. And he's created this huge Tesla following on there, and he's at 50-odd thousand subscribers in a year. But it was really nice to see. The last video he did, I think, was the best video he's done, because it's almost a behind the scenes where he went, this is how I film my videos. And it actually brings down this veil of, he must be a professional. He must use rigs. He must use a professional camera, and he must do this. He goes, for the last year, I've used my iPhone. Every single video I've put on my channel in the last year has been filmed with an iPhone and a Osmo 3.
Oh yeah, nice.
and a tripod. And I'm like, I have an iPhone, I have an Osmo 3, and I have a tripod. What the fuck have I been doing?
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes it just gives you that kind of like, you stop fucking overthinking it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Don't overthink it. And that's, you don't need the best equipment. You don't need thousands of dollars and stuff. And actually, when I started my YouTube channel, that's what I did. I got a tripod, I had my iPhone. I think it was a 6 or an 8 or something. It was probably a 8 or I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, and then I got a mic, just for some decent audio and stuff. And so probably a couple $100 worth of equipment. I mean, I already had the iPhone, obviously, but I spent an additional, for the mic and the tripod and stuff. And that's all you really need. Obviously you need some video editing software, but really you don't need anything. I think when it comes down to it, it's all about the content. You got to give people what they want to see. Just, people kind of like, I follow Glarses. He's a good he's a keyboard enthusiast.
Yep.
And he just absolutely blew up. And he doesn't have anything special. But it's just personality. It's just, he's funny. And that's just content. He's got good content. He's funny. People just want to see, just be yourself, your personality. And that's what they come for. A lot of times, for personality, you don't need, a $10,000 video camera and a crew of 5, even though it would be a lot easier to do some of this stuff. But yeah, when it boils down to it, the root of the core of your channel just needs to be just good content that people want to see.
I think the other thing that holds me back, and again, there might be other people that think the same thing, is I'm not an expert in anything.
Yeah.
And there's an expression in the UK, I think it's, what is it? A jack of all trades, a master of none.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I know a little bit about everything, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert in anything. And I think sometimes I feel like I don't want to put myself out there of trying to sound like I'm trying to be an expert in something. So it's just finding that balance of, like you said, being entertaining and going, look, this is just me. This is just my perception of this thing I'm just talking about today. And I'm going to give you a few bullet points and a few kind of things that I've found on it, and doing it in a nice kind of genuine and, like you said, funny, enthusiastic way. That's what I'm trying to aim for probably going forward.
Exactly. You don't need to be an expert. And I think a lot of people who think, I think even I thought that too, like, well, who am I? Like, I don't know any of this stuff, but you know what? The majority of people out there are not experts either. It doesn't really matter. So you go out there and just like, you know what, this is my perception. This is what I know. And let's learn together. And here's what I learned after even doing this video. There's a lot of things that I get, like a product or, just doing just PC building or doing these things. I learn something every time. And I'm not an expert. I don't think there's very few people that actually are the extreme experts. Everyone just wants to see your perception of it and how you're doing something. They can all learn something off the video. They don't come there because you are 100% the expert.
Well, I think the ones that you go to, when we've all done it, we go into Google and go, how do you do this?
Yeah.
That's the time you're looking for an expert. The ones you subscribe to are the ones you actually just sit and go, that was a really easy listen. That was just a nice person to listen to, and they've got a similar interest. And I'm going to drop them a sub. Yeah,
exactly. Good storytelling skills can also go, a long way. If you can hold someone's attention during the length of the video, that's key. And that's the way kind of the YouTube algorithm kind of works too, is they want you to be able to hold the user's attention. And so that's really all it comes down to. You don't need thousands of dollars of equipment. Just give someone, something to watch during your video, the duration of your video, and YouTube will reward you.
I think that is probably summed up all algorithms at the moment. I think all of them are, does your content keep people on the platform? If they do, yes, we're going to reward you with extra reach.
It's funny. I actually tweeted something and actually put something on Instagram today that has that quote. Is a quote from Albert Einstein, because it's kind of funny. My wife has a coloring book for adults.
Yeah.
I was going to say an adult coloring book, but that you'd think something else. So
I want that book.
Yeah, exactly.
Send me a copy.
Yeah. So it's a coloring book for adults. Anyways, so which was kind of funny is they had excellent quotes in here, and I'm like, really, I'm getting these awesome quotes out of a coloring book. Anyways, what I tweeted today, I think kind of goes with that, is like, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Albert Einstein.
Wise man.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. I mean, don't look how, like how you can be so successful. I need to, you get a lot of people with young people, like, I'm just doing this to make the money. I just want to, make money. It's like, well, you know what? First, that's the side effect, is being successful is a side effect of actually providing people good value, people value, content they want to see. The side effect of that will be success.
I think there's a lot of, even now at 41, obviously you said you're 42. You're probably the only guest I've had on that is at my age, which makes me feel really soft and fuzzy inside. And look how good looking we both still are.
Oh man, I wake up at 10.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more a 4, but it's fine. I'm
just kidding.
But there's a lot of mixed signals out there. Like I go on to there's a lot of going back to like the motivational quotes and stuff. Like I'm not one to buy self-help books and things like that. I'm a bit cynical to things like that. But if you're young, there's a lot of mixed signals of how what's perceived as success and how do you get there. And sometimes it's, work yourself into the floor and don't invest in any sort of relationships or anything in your 20s. Your 20s is when you're there to break your own back. And then you get others just saying, just focus on doing what you love and try and find something, so it's very hard to know how you get there because you don't know where there is.
Yeah.
And I still don't know where there is.
Nah, exactly. It's subjective. You need to know what makes you happy, and doing what I do right now. And there's an even balance to it too, because like you said, I could work myself to death, and I could ignore my family. Is that success for me? No, because what? I could probably have double the subscribers. I could just kill it on social media and stuff like that, but who cares? That's with strangers on the internet and all that stuff. But guess what? The people that are actually here with me, I've ignored. And that to me is not success. And so,
yeah,
you got to have your own priorities. And so it's a balance between some of that stuff.
That's a really valid point, because I actually thought that to myself again tonight. I've been thinking of it a lot the last couple of weeks. I keep having to say it because anxiety has become more of a real thing. Not that it wasn't before, but certainly with COVID and lockdown, anxiety is at the forefront of a lot of people's minds, and they're experiencing it for the first time. And I wouldn't say I've experienced it for the first time, but it's definitely amplified. And I have to keep telling myself that social media is supposed to be fun, because it doesn't pay for this house.
Exactly.
It doesn't put clothes on my kids' back. It doesn't make them happy. It doesn't make my wife happy. So there is occasions where, social media can get a bit dramatic and a bit of drama, and it's easy to get wrapped up in it and get anxious about it and overthink it and think someone's out there to get me and stuff. But the reality is I could turn it off tomorrow and all those problems disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
The dangerous thing is with that, I lose a lot of friends that I have made. So it's just having that kind of self-awareness that it's real, but it's not. The friendships are real. Any potential issues, dramas, problems, they can quite easily be switched off. I totally get now why kids feel bullied online. Yeah. Because I never got it until I became like a large Instagram account. Yeah. Yeah. Before that, I would almost scoff at it and say, online bullying, what the hell's that? Yeah. Just turn it off. But I think for kids, it most definitely is real, because that online bullying then leads into school. Yep. Whereas if we get bullied online, the reality is we're never going to see that person. Yeah. So
but for they kids, see their classmates.
Yeah. It's doubly hard.
Online. Exactly. I feel sorry for it. I mean,
I really do.
I don't know. That's one of the challenging parts that I've thought of too. When Zoe gets to be a little older, has her own phone, and especially middle school, junior high, like that was a rough part of my life. A lot of people's lives. Everyone's trying to find themselves. And everything. You have to have the perfect shoes, the perfect clothes, because if
brands,
you don't, you're a loser. I mean, your parents can afford $100 pair of shoes. What a loser! And then it's tough. It's really tough. And I feel sorry for kids, because before, you could just deal with school, and then you come home, you're like, okay, I'm at home. But now it's like, man, you can get hit 24/7 because you have social media accounts, and I feel sorry, and not looking forward to that.
You get a DM, or you get an alert, you get an app mention, all of that stuff. And, it could be anything. It could be teasing, or, God forbid, it could be, people, sending awkward pictures of you and stuff like that. It's like, it's just a new thing that we're experiencing with our children for the first time. And Daisy loves TikTok, and she doesn't post anything, but she'll use the filters. But she just finds them hilarious. But I have to be like, make sure you're not posting that, because you're in a vest in your pants. So exactly. So it is a dangerous world. I like to think that I'm not a prude, and because I've been through it, I'm kind of like, look, there are good sides to social media too. But I definitely am wary that we need to be at least aware of the badness that's out there.
Exactly. A lot of trolls out there, which is sad. Yeah, they get their jollies off of that.
That's why I tend to avoid Twitter a lot of the time. I don't think you get a lot from Twitter. I think Twitter is good as an information site still. I think it's a good site to find a headline, to follow political stuff and news and things, but if you're trying to create a following, growth, all that sort of stuff, it's not there. I can post something on Instagram, and get usual amount of likes, but obviously loads of nice comments and positive comments and engaging comments. And
Instagram is a lot more positive. Yeah, Instagram is a lot more positive. Twitter, I've actually made a harder effort to get in there. There are pros of Twitter that I like. There's pros and cons of every social media platform. Twitter, I've tried to get in there and actually, I'm starting to get the ball rolling a little bit more, engaging with people a little bit more. I've actually had decent luck with it, and I haven't had a whole lot of bad. I experienced a lot of trolls. I've experienced a lot of trolls on Reddit. Reddit has actually become a very toxic place, which is sad because Reddit is actually one of the inspirations of kind of why I did this, why I did PC Battle Stations, because the Battle Station subreddit and stuff like that.
Well, it's very cynical, isn't it? The times that I've been on there, and like you said, it's been overwhelmingly neutral or positive, but I'd still get far more trolls on there than I do anywhere else. So I don't tend to go on there a lot, to be honest with you. But I can see why it's so good, because if you do get the right kind of community, it's very engaging. People like to, follow up with a lot of questions and comments and get inspiration from it. Instagram has been a weird one for the last year, but I think we all still persevere because it's almost like we've come this far. We got to keep going. Yeah, no, it's good. I like Instagram. We got a good, we've made a lot of friends on Instagram. Yeah. And it's a very good, positive platform. There are some negative things, like I can't post my links and stuff like that. And then the algorithm, sometimes we're at the mercy of the algorithm, kind of like having posts flop and all that stuff, but whatever. And that's why I try not to get in analytics too much. Cause when it all comes down to it, like you said, like try not to think social media, try not to think too hard about it. And, if I get some followers, whatever, I'm growing it slowly. And I'm not thinking of it as like a second job. I'm thinking of it as fun. Like I'll take some quality photos. I'll take pictures of things I love. If you like it, cool. If one post gets 1,000 likes and one post gets 100, I don't care. It was a picture of my keyboard that didn't do as well as a picture of my PC. It doesn't really matter. It's funny, isn't it? People get bent out of shape out of that. Like, oh, this post flopped. How in the world? Like it's, like whatever. I do tend to find close-ups don't do as well as pan shots. It's weird. I don't know why that is. I mean, some people are different. I think if you only post close-ups and that's what you're known for, but if you post like I would normally post something which shows the bulk of my setup, maybe not, all the way back, but it would show monitor, PC, keyboard, various different angles that always tend to do reasonably well. But if I did a close-up keyboard shot, most of the time it wouldn't do very well. No, because that's not your audience. It's not your audience. Yeah, it's just peculiar like that. But the thing is, it gets a bit boring, right? Just posting the same angle every now and again. Exactly, and that's why if you look at my Instagram feed, it's like I started out posting other people's setups, and then I kind of morphed into, when I built this one, I took a lot of pictures of my setup, but then I got old too. It's just like, and then you see some of those accounts that have like tons of like thousands, like 20,000, but they're known for one thing, and that's just posting different angles of their setup with different colors. And that's boring to me. It's just like, okay, cool. You got a cool setup. Here's a cool shot. Yeah. Yeah. And then you see those accounts that are just absolutely killing it, like keyboards, and that's all you do, and take amazing shots. And they have like 40, 50,000 followers, and they'll get 2,000 likes on a post of a keyboard. Cool. That's your audience. And that's just your whole feed is just close-ups of keyboards and keycaps. Cool. I'm more of a jack of all trades, kind of like you said, jack of all trades, or what is it? Master of all trades, master of none. Master of none. And so, and I like all kinds of things. I don't want to post one thing. I don't want, and then there's other accounts that I like too, that post only PCs. Cool. I like that too. But me, I like all kinds of things. I like setups. I like everything involved with tech, so you get all kinds of variety. And if I get the average amount of likes, I don't care. Just you like my my account, you get a whole lot of well, they're like Ryan. That's the thing. It's like I'm a big fan of having names behind accounts and occasionally having a picture of someone behind an account, because you start to bond with that person. And it's he's called Ryan. He looks a little bit like Ryan Reynolds. He posts good pictures. I'm talking about the Deadpool Ryan Reynolds, of course. Oh yeah. Well, that makes more sense. Yes, gotcha. But that makes more sense. I always try and give myself a post where I go, this post I know is not going to do well. This is my creativity post or my outpost, or I'm just doing it because I just fancy doing it. And I never used to do that. I used to criticize myself in every post. Now I just give myself almost like a free pass on a post every 3 or 4. I go, that's an experimental one. Let's see which way it goes. Yeah, exactly. And that's what you got to experiment with too. And if you find something cool, a picture of a mug, cool. Picture of some cool, like you have your pens lined up, something like that, but you can really make it artistic.
And there's all kinds of different things you can do. And that's what's cool, even just photography in general, even videography, even just YouTube. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
It's cool. You can just take the simplest of things and throw some cool lighting onto it, or different angles, some bokeh shots. And we're all learning, we're all playing with different things, and it's just fun. It's just
and if it only gets 100 likes, you're still going to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But they won't be related if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there any other thing outside of gaming? Is there any other kind of dad projects you got going on? Anything with the house or anything like that?
No, I used to have a lot of major projects in the house, but they're pretty much all done, all the major ones. Like I pretty much, when we moved in, our house was a big fixer upper, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I was a big DIYer, and I know pretty much because I liked it, and for saving money, because I know I can do some of this stuff that these people are doing. I've seen the contractors that come and do the work and the amount of money they're charging. And it's like, okay, well, I can spend $3,000, or I can just, find the $200 part that they're installing and just do it myself, because
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I can do this stuff. I just don't know how, but let's find out how. And guess what? It wasn't hard. And a lot of the stuff isn't hard. A lot of the contractors out there are doing stuff. And so I pretty much redid a lot of the stuff in our house. Like I built their own fireplace downstairs. And actually the video that I got coming out on YouTube is Govee immersion backlight TV or backlight LED strip.
Nice.
Which is kind of cool, where it has a little camera on top of the TV, and it sees what colors are on the TV.
I've seen that. And then
in sync with the back.
Yeah. It's like a Philips
the light sync. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I'm actually wrapping up that video, and that is actually downstairs in my Xbox console, where I actually was doing console gaming downstairs. So you get a little glimpse at that. And so I built that whole fireplace, which is really cool. And so, yeah, a lot of those major projects are already done. And so right now, all my focus is just building PC battle stations. Working on new content, building PCs, and actually kind of like what you mentioned too, a lot of people like to see, rather than just a name and a bunch of pictures or even just videos, like where it's just like a lot of my YouTube stuff would be like, hi, I'm Ryan. Like, here is this next product we'd like to take a look at. And so what I branched out starting this year, and those people know my YouTube channel, is I started streaming, because I'm kind of a streaming noob. And even with this Dadcast podcast, is they want to see a little bit more of some raw, like my emotions, your emotions, us talking fluently. And I think that's where they start actually becoming avid fans, diehards. Is because
this is why I wanted to do this. Yeah, because we just kind of, we hit it off, and I still find it quite crazy. Like, we obviously come from very different backgrounds. The more I learn about our countries, the more I feel they're like Mars and Jupiter. Although we're in one world, it's like, the stuff that's going on in America right now is hard to kind of, wrap my head around. But then equally, our country is not much better. And there's loads of shit going on over here, which is hard to put your head around. And, it's a very toxic world we live in. But, there's also the fun stuff of just understanding the foods and the differences in that and your lifestyle kind of stuff. And over here we have our small little houses made of brick. And over there you get these, much bigger houses made of timber. And it's just fascinating. I love watching that kind of stuff. That's like my hidden secrets on YouTube, is watching DIY in America, because a lot of stuff seems easier. Because like watching my guide today, watching your video well over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago, watching you build your desk was a fantastic video. I really enjoyed that. And I probably around 4 or 5 months ago started buying tools. So I got to like the peak of, I didn't need any more gaming stuff. Yes, I could upgrade my PC, but can't we always? But I was like, I don't need anything like that. That's fine. I'm not really gaming much, so I don't need to upgrade that. I've built my podcast area. That's kind of done. And that was a little bit of kind of offcuts and, cheap shelves and cheap speakers. But I've made it look nice. But I kind of was done. And I thought, well, what do I do now? And I thought back to you, obviously being quite handy. And I don't have a workshop, but I've got a little garden. If the weather's good, I can go out there and that can be my workshop and stuff. I've got a little shed. And I started buying tools. So it sounds really stupid because these aren't advanced tools, but even buying a box with some pliers in.
Oh, yeah.
My God, how many times have I not been able to find a set of pliers in the last few years?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just going through all of those things of buying a box of screwdrivers, like a nice box, a really big box. So I've got all of those technical screwdrivers, pliers. I got a circular saw for Christmas. Never had one before.
Yeah.
All that. So I'm building up all of that to do kind of what you have said you're doing, is do it yourself. So this year is going to be my loft, and I want to get the loft boarded, lighting. I'd like to get a window in there if I can. I will get a trade in to put a radiator in there for heat. And then that could potentially, all of this could go up there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do yourself. There's a lot of things that I keep to the pros, obviously.
Electric, gas.
I was just going to say, I don't touch a lot of that stuff when there's danger involved if you do it wrong.
Yeah, death. I'll give it to someone else.
Yeah, you might want to keep that to the professionals. So yeah, there's definitely things where I'll pay the professionals, but if there's things like, just simple woodwork and all that stuff, it's easy. And the right tools makes it a lot easier. I don't know how many times that I've been like, I don't have the right tool, but I'm going to try it with this. And then like 4 hours later, it's like, all right, I'm going to go to the store. This didn't work out at all. And I'm going to go to the store, like kind of like you said, like circular saw would have probably been a lot easier than just a simple little tool. It makes it so much easier. And that's all you have to do. Tools are expensive, but guess what? Over 10 years, like I've accumulated a mass of nice tools, because every little project, you'd be like, I need this. Okay, just need to spend another $100 or something and grab this tool. Then over time, you accumulate a nice arsenal of tools.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'm not fortunate enough to have what you call a garage over here. I would love to have a hobby room or a workshop that I could go out and build stuff in. And I don't know what I'd build, because I don't really know. But like I said, the loft is a big one. It's just joists up there. So basically, you've got to tiptoe across everything. There's so much junk up there. When we moved from a flat or an apartment into the house, we basically used the loft to just chuck loads of stuff up there that we don't use anymore. And it unfortunately became a bit of a dumping area. So it's so full up there. But I need to get some joist legs, insulation, boarding, and I've got all the tools now to do that. So that's going to be the kind of summer/second half of this year project. And then who knows? Carly wants it for a gym. Probably more accurately, Daisy has said it needs to be a gym for me and Mum. So we'll see who wins that battle. Or it could be both. Luck. It could be both. If it's like one, what my dream is, if you go up into our loft, there's a what do they call it? A party wall. Okay. So it's a wall that you share with your neighbor. Yep. Because we're a semi-detached house. And it's a brick wall. And I'm like, that would be a really nice backdrop for a setup.
Oh, so it's just brick. That's kind of nice. Yeah.
Exposed brick. Now the brick's not very nice. So I'm thinking I would probably re-brick it, do another layer with nice brick, because this is
clean it up.
Yeah. Clean it up or put a stud up and then brick it again. But I thought really nice kind of minimalist setup up there. Very much kind of, I'm leaning more towards the Grove Made look lately.
Nice.
And I think it's just as things evolve, your taste changes and adapts. And I've done.
Oh, definitely.
I've got the big RGB gaming setup there, but I'd actually quite like a kind of a really minimal, nice wood kind of desk with a shelf and a nice one monitor setup. But that could go up there with a brick background. But then I thought like a nice neon sign on the brick.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
You just turn that off. And then behind it, Carly could have her weights and all of her yoga mats and whatever. And that could be kind of a dual area, which would be quite nice. So, who knows? Let's see how that goes next year.
So that would be a whole additional setup, or like kind of like a picture, like a studio photography area, or like a setup, did you say?
Yeah, probably a bit of everything. It probably would be where my main setup would be. And I'd probably still have a laptop set up downstairs just for convenience.
Oh, that would be your main setup up there in the
That would be the main setup. It would be my studio. So I'd have my podcast would be filmed up there, and I'd have all the acoustics done and all of that. But it could also be somewhere the kids could go up and just play Roblox for 25 hours, and I'll just lock I'll lock the loft hatch and say, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Lock from the outside.
Yeah, you're not having a boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Nope. Oh, you'll come out when you're 30.
That's it. 30 years old and the queen of Roblox.
Yeah. Probably.
So yeah, that's a little project. But I don't know if you've spotted on my Instagram, but we're currently having the girls' new bedroom done.
Nice.
So we it wasn't because of COVID, but we got to last summer and said we don't want lodges anymore. We used to have students stay with us, and it was just great. It just helped us save money and pay for the odd holiday and just made sure we were comfortable. But we got to the point where like the girls are getting older, the house is feeling smaller.
Yeah.
And we just don't want a stranger living in our house anymore. As much as all of our lodgers were fantastic and they all became members of the family, we just thought we're a bit done with it now. So we quit, and then we kept the spare room as a spare room, and it was the girls' weekend. We call it the cinema room. So they can go up there on the big double bed. We've got a TV in there. We put Netflix on. They have popcorn. They watch a film, and that's what we call cinema night. And they go in there. But we're like, right, let's do it now. So, not being too morbid, obviously Carly's dad passed away in the last 18 months.
Yeah,
we had a tiny bit of money from that, not a lot, but it was enough to say, right, let's get the girls' bedroom done. So again, we've procrastinated with it through COVID, and we've only just started it, but 2 days ago we got the tradesman in, and I stripped all the wallpaper back, took off all the Victorian picture rails, got it all back to bare plaster, and he's come in and he's smashed it out in 2 days. He's boarded the ceiling, nice. Changed all the lights, put extra sockets in, moved the light switch, flipped the door round. Wow, he's just done loads, and like he should finish by tomorrow, and then next week we'll be painting it, and then I'm going to create their first setup.
Nice. That's awesome.
Which I'm very excited about. So they've got their bunk beds. I'm going to try and raise their bunk beds. That's my first DIY project for me, is raise the bunk beds up so they're a bit higher. And then I'm going to create their first desk.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's going to be IKEA standard. What is the Linman? It's going to be a classic Linman top, nice and white, with the pegboard behind so they can put all their pens and stuff like that. And they'll have a laptop, probably rather than a PC. Got my wife's old laptop. I'm just going to upgrade it to an SSD because it's slow as fuck. And that'll be enough for Roblox and doing the homework.
Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things I built Zoe a little setup too. Same thing. IKEA, they had like, it's not a Linman, but it's basically their little kid desk that you're able to raise as they get taller and stuff
nice.
Like that. And then when I upgraded my PC, gave her all the hand-me-downs and stuff. So she's going to be a spoiled little girl when, she gets all my hand-me-downs, and she's going to be like 10 years old and rocking like some of these kids like that are, or men probably don't even have some of this equipment. But
I'm quite excited about that, to be honest with you. Gamer daughter, like this is new to me. Like I'm an only child. In high school, we had no computer classes. So I grew up in South Africa, where maybe they were a few years behind on tech. I don't know if they've caught up now, but they were most definitely a few years behind when I was over there. So there were no computer classes. I think the only thing that used a computer was accounting. You had business economics and you had accounting. Business ec didn't use computers, but I think accounting did, just for spreadsheet usage. But other than that, there was no computer usage in school whatsoever.
Yeah. Really? So, even high school, huh? Wow.
Yeah, even high school. I mean, it was the dark ages over there, admittedly. But, and now, my daughter's going to be going to school. And I can already tell when we do the Microsoft Teams, they do their meetings and stuff. Mm-hmm. Daisy was on Microsoft Teams today with her teacher and giving her a tour of the house. And I was like, maybe don't do that because it's a mess in here right now. But she's taking them around. They're like, oh my God, look at all the computer stuff. And I think you just get a bit blasé. When you're in the gaming circle, you're just very blasé to it. It's like, yeah, that's my setup over there. But when you get like, my plasterer doesn't know how to use a computer, and he comes in, he's like, oh my God, look at that. And we're like, yeah, but that's not like really good. If you see this guy like that, the spec of that is very uninspiring. It just looks good, but it's nothing special. But I think sometimes you get so wrapped up in our world of like, make it better, make it better, make it better.
Yeah.
You don't realize you've got a pretty dope thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I think, we both got great setups, and can't wait to have you on basically one of my new stream, the dream gaming setups. So that'll be kind of fun.
That is going to be good. Yeah. And I know we spoke about that a long time ago, and it's just, with everything going on in the dad life, I'm very excited to see you launch that. And I'm honored to be, on that quite early doors. Cause again, I'm sat in my dining room, and I still think a lot of people don't actually realize that looking at my account. My friends do. The people who've known me on Instagram for a year or two now know that. But, you get people approaching again, thinking you're a millionaire and you've got this incredible setup. No, it's my dining room, mate. I've got you can just see my table right there where the kids eat dinner. This is the tiny corner. It's like 110 centimeters wide. And then I do have my setup over there, but you got to walk through here. There's shoes right next to me for the kids and the wife. We paint this picture perfect world and we crop it so that you only see the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But immediately out of shot is just, I can literally reach over and get my wife's running trainers. So it's nothing glamorous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you look behind me. I mean, I just got, it's nothing glamorous because we only focus on, what the shots, what they look good and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what people don't also realize too is like, we've at this point in our lives, I'm level 42, you're level 41. And so we have good jobs and we have I'm able to, I've worked my ass off to get to the point I'm at. Like I have a good paying job where I'm able to afford this stuff and I'm able to prioritize and I'm able to have some of this money to buy some of this stuff before. And that just started recently too, because there was a period of time, I think when Zoe was even during preschool, basically there was like another mortgage payment, another house payment, trying to pay for her class or her preschool and all that stuff.
Oh, it's incredibly expensive.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Childcare, that's the only reason Carly went to work nights is because by the time we worked it out, this way she gets more time with the kids and we make more money, but the downside of it is she's tired. Yeah. So that's the trade-off is she has to come in from a night shift and still parent. But it was that, or we put them in childcare, in which case you're just earning that to pay that.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I didn't start doing this until after that stopped.
Yeah.
Pretty much I started this, a couple of years ago, about a year and a half ago or something like that. And so when she started kindergarten, we stopped paying that mortgage payment of daycare costs. Yeah. We're at a point in our lives when we can afford a lot of this stuff. And so a lot of kids, like teenagers, 20 people, 20-year-olds or whatever, that just are working jobs that basically they can't afford the stuff. They're minimum wage. So you'll get there. You don't need to get there right now. I didn't get there right now.
That is very, very true. I was in a vicious cycle in my 20s of getting stuff on credit, and it crippled me for probably 6 or 7 years.
I'll drag you down.
Yeah, it's really, really tough to make your way back from that. So again, anyone listening who is kind of thinking, I want to do this, I want to do that, it does come late. I like to think, 42, 41, we still feel pretty young, right?
Oh yeah.
You're not, if you're 20 thinking of 40, it sounds like it's fucking ancient, but it really isn't.
No, I still think the same exact thing. It's just sometimes it hurts a little bit more. Like I'm not able to lift like 500 pounds like I used to,
Yeah, 499,
exactly. Now I'm doing maybe 385. Now it's just
gonna go make a coffee over there.
Trip. And so it takes a long time to recover nowadays. Obviously the body feels a little older, but mindset, dude, I'm the same guy I was in 20 in the college. I still like to drink, still like to have fun. I'm the same guy. It's just a little older. And
nothing really changes. It's definitely a mindset. I mean, I think because our hobby is one that is enjoyed by all ages, we probably do come across a bit younger. Whereas maybe if we were into darts or fishing or stamp collecting, we probably would look our age.
Yeah,
but I think because we'd
probably actually be the younger.
Yeah,
stamp collecting.
Yeah,
we'd be the young pups.
Penny farthing, yay! Because we're in gaming. That's just it's ageless. It's ageless, right? So that's where non-gamers give us the eye roll of like, really gaming? You're into that? Like you fucking 42? You're 41?
Yeah, aren't you old? No, I'm not. You know what? You don't realize that we actually, you probably can attest to this. What was your first gaming system as a kid? We had the old Atari, and then I had obviously the original Nintendo.
Yep.
And then we saw kind of the birth of gaming, which is
definitely
awesome. And that's why what makes us old. We'll probably say, Grandpa, tell us about the old days back when internet was born and you had the first game console. Yeah, you're old.
It had to load. Yeah. Like I remember my first, I'm sure I did have a console before this one, but the first one I actually remember, my bedroom specifically, that it was my first desk setup. Now it was probably, it was before I went to South Africa. So I must have been 7 or 8. And I had a Spectrum. I had a Spectrum ZX 48K, with a separate tape loader. And I remember you would put it in, and it was, you know, people who complain about load up times.
Oh yeah.
Never had a Spectrum ZX48K because you'd put the tape in and then it would play this kind of like torturous kind of like, like where it was thinking of it. And you didn't know if it was going to load up or not. Like it was hit and miss. Like you would go, right, I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna play a bit of Michael Jackson Moonwalker, which was a great game at the time, or Ghosts and Goblins, or it could have been Bubble Bobble, or it could have been any of those really old games. You put the tape in, you press it, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna now do something else for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and wait for, and then it would crash after 10 minutes. Yeah. You know, you'd have to clean the head of your cassette player.
Oh yeah, blow it out.
You know, blow it out, and then it moved up to like your first floppy disk and all that sort of stuff. And then it was Commodore 16 or Commodore 64, and it felt like a long time before we got to the Nintendo Family System.
Yeah.
Or the Sega Mega Drive or any of those, and then they became more reliable. You still had to do the old blowing the cassettes to get them to work, or licking the cassettes to get them to work. We all did that. You know, I think we've got a fondness for gaming because we appreciate where it's come from and where it's gone. I feel sad for kids who grew up PS2 forward.
Yeah,
because
spoiled.
They are spoiled. They are. They don't. They you know. And I'm a hypocrite here because I'm always like the graphics are nothing special. But you know, we've seen that arc of going from stick figures. Horace goes skiing. I watched that on YouTube the other day, and it literally is horrendous. But I enjoyed it at the time. But we've seen it go like all the way up to 4K, 120 frames per second on a console. Is crazy. But we remember those old days. But I remember those days fondly. Yeah.
Oh, those are good times, and that's all we had. Then we loved it. So it was
old tennis games. The Sega. The Master Drive was a great console. The Dreamcast was a fantastic console.
Yep, I remember
all of that's pre PS2.
Yeah.
The PS1 was great. Metal Gear Solid on that was fantastic. That was a pinnacle moment for me of playing Metal Gear Solid on the PS1. It's the first console I bought for myself was the PS1 with my own money.
Did you ever play Twisted Metal?
That's probably.
Twisted Metal. That was where the cars would you'd have different cars, and then each car had its own, like was it a Corvette or something like that? Old white and blue Corvette or whatever, shoot the missiles that would fly through walls and stuff. So and then the motorcycle would shoot this little emblem, and then they had the clown or something like that. So every car had its own special abilities and speed and all that stuff. You can go around and battle. Oh man, I love that game. That was PS1. That was fun.
There were some really good ones. I mean, I was talking this with Ryan on episode, I think it was 3, was Red Faction. And there's so many games where they were way ahead of their time. I used to love Soul Reaver, Legend of Kazil or something like that. Was Soul. That's one that's primed for a remake because the story was incredible. But I think I remember the stories were really good back in the day. I think that's maybe where games have maybe some way fallen off, is they're not as good story-wise, and they kind of put too much into development of graphics. And that's the poison world we live in, is everything needs to look amazing.
Yeah.
And we're unforgiving when a game doesn't look great, even if the story is fantastic. Back in the day, a good story game could look shit.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's kind of like, I'm actually kind of glad to see Among Us doing well, because that's not a good graphics. It's just, just fun, having fun. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the core of the game.
I think the first time I played that, I was in a bad space because the kids didn't. Well, I think we had a community stream going on. The kids didn't want to go to bed. They kept coming down. I was really tired. I was really grumpy, and I thought, do I really want to try and put on a fake face of like trying to lie at who's killed something? So I was just like, yeah, I killed him. Game over.
That was me.
I'm done.
Was me.
I enjoyed it. I killed him. So I've got a bit to learn on that game, unfortunately.
That's pretty funny. But that brings up another point too, like just being dads, and just like some days, like I don't have the motivation to, like, when, let's say it's the time that I have to be productive, and that's annoying when I have a bad night, something is going on. Zoe's just being a little brat or something, doesn't go to bed, and just like everyone just is not in a good mood. And then, I have to get in and be productive. And I'm just like, oh man.
Well, you nailed it, because that's exactly how I felt tonight. Like, I was like, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew I was going to see your face.
Thanks.
And be able to kind of hang out. Like if I had to create content tonight, just faceless content, if I had to, like, after the night I've had tonight of go to bed, please go to bed, or you're in trouble. It's just endless tonight. And when you've got two kids in particular, like Poppy went down really well. So like thumbs up, great. Daisy had a nightmare. Like she would not go to sleep. She went to bed an hour and a half late, but like you don't want to commit to doing something while people are still coming down the stairs. Like I wouldn't want them to be walking down the stairs and coming into this. I'm getting really anxious now because I'm like, right, now I've only got half an hour until Ryan's coming on and I need to wind down. I need to put my game face on of coming on to doing this. And it got to the point and my wife called me and I was just like, look, I've got this podcast in 20 minutes. Daisy's been a nightmare. I'm really stressed. She's like, once you do it, you'll have fun. Once you get on it, you'll have fun. So, everyone goes through the same motions. So, when you look at a podcast and, I'm nothing special. And I hope Ryan doesn't mind me saying, Ryan's nothing special. He's just a dad.
Yeah.
He's just a dad.
Just a guy.
He's a creative guy. He's just a dude that loves to do what he does. We all go through the same shit. And if you're a dad that thinks, look at Iron Milks, he's getting all this amazing content out. 9 times out of 10, I'm stressed as bollocks in the background. And, I'm thinking, I don't have time for this. My kids don't go to sleep. I've got to get this out. My wife wants to spend some time with me and watch some shit on Netflix that I'm not interested in, or I get the let's go to bed. And trust me, it's not let's go to bed. It's
not a good one.
Yeah, that is not April. It's more like let's go to bed and maybe put Harry Potter on Audible or put something on Netflix and I'm going to use you like a human pillow. And, I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. Like now it's my time to shine. This is my time in the house. So that comes back to scheduling of going, I know for a fact the night she comes back from a night shift, I have to write off that next evening because if I try and do something, even though I know she's going to go to bed early, I've not seen her for 2 nights. She's going to expect me to go to bed with her. So it's just like, right, in my head tonight, I'm doing nothing. I'm doing no content. And that helps me in a way because I don't put the pressure on myself then of going, I need to create some content. Occasionally she'll fall asleep, like maybe not lately because I'm tired as well from being at home with the kids, but the agreement would be when I fall asleep, you can come back downstairs and do whatever you want to do. And I would do that. She would fall asleep in bed. I would then get up and come back downstairs and have another hour and a half. Yeah. But I'm so tired with like having the kids and stuff. Like I'm not getting out of bed anymore. I'm just going to sleep. Yeah.
And I think it's important though, too, that you do need to kind of check out and you need to have those nights where, you know what, it's okay to not do anything tonight. You need that because to tell you the truth, I could work every second of the day and still not be satisfied with the amount of work I'm doing. But I think it's very important to have that balance where you just need to check out and just, you know what, tonight, I'm not going to do anything. I don't care. I'm going to game and I'm not going to feel guilty about not producing other content for anything. Or, you know what, I don't feel like doing anything tonight. I'm just going to maybe hang out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch TV. My brain, I want to turn it off. Maybe I'll just watch a movie.
Yeah.
It's important to check out.
I think it is. Yeah. I think that's why I only genuinely get that for me personally when I play on a console because it's in a different room. If I'm in this room, there's too many distractions and I might think that could be a good picture. And then I'll go from playing that game. And I've talked about this a lot on my podcast about only being able to commit, say 20 minutes to a game. And then my brain starts to think I should be doing something else or I could be doing something else. And the only games recently, right now it's Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm on the Xbox Series X in the lounge and I'm really enjoying that.
Nice.
It's frustrating. It's, challenging and the story's good. And I think it helps that I'm watching Vikings on Prime as well, that nice. I'm kind of living the story at the same time. And the game is the series, which is brilliant and almost a spoiler in itself. So I'm like, I didn't want to know that because hopefully that doesn't happen in the series, but I can go in the lounge and that's where I can zone out. If I play in here, and even if I jump on Warzone or, whatever I'm playing in here, I will start to veer off to do something else. Yeah. So,
or you feel guilty.
Yeah, you feel
you should be doing something.
Guilty's a big one. I think Carly knows tonight she's going to come in. The washing up's not going to be done. The washing isn't going to be hung up because I told her I have had no time to do anything before the kids have gone down, and then I've got to do the podcast. So tomorrow she'll expect it. But 9 times out of 10, I'll do exactly that. I will sit on the sofa and go 20 minutes, and then go, I think I have to get the washing out, or I think I have to do the washing up, or, I need to clear the bedroom ready for tomorrow's plastering. And, dad brains, and I'm sure mum brains are exactly the same. I just can't relate because I'm not a mum, but we are wired. I think once you've had kids up to the age 4 or 5 years, you're conditioned to, there's something I should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very rare that I just sit there and do nothing. And because there's always something to do, whether it's, something here, with PC battle stations or, full-time job or housework, like you said, dishes, housework, any kind of housework. There's always something to be doing. And so very rare that I can actually just sit down and relax. But I think it's important that you need to take the time and just like screw everything.
Yeah. Have a cheat day. Relax. Have a cheat day for food. Have a cheat day for your brain.
Yeah, you need that just to kind of just watch mindless television or movie and just don't worry about it. Who cares? Don't stress yourself out.
No, I agree. So back to tech. What excites you this year? What's something that you're looking forward to in particular?
Me personally, what I'm extremely excited is I'm getting into more of the PC modding, so basically kind of my inspiration right now is taking me towards these very extreme themed setups. And I am going to go and I'm going to buy equipment to mod PCs a lot more. And I think doing this stream series along with this dream gaming setup, which I haven't launched yet, you might actually be my first one because So, and then I think that's anyways. So, and then the other stream that I have going is the ultimate PC builds.
Yeah.
And I find inspiration and I love some of the artistic minds that build some of these PCs are just insane. Kind of like we were talking about being artistic and creative. And I love it. And so I'm excited about, and you'll probably see a lot more. I'm going to get a 3D printer. I'm going to get, and actually being a content creator and being on YouTube, you get a lot of products thrown at you for free. When you first start out, yes, you love them, you take them and you're just like, all right, cool. What I found after a year of doing that is they think that you are their bitch now. So basically you are their marketing department and there are deadlines like, why haven't you completed this? Or, when can I expect this? And then basically you work for them all of a sudden at just the cost of sending you the product for free and stuff. And do you know how much time it takes? Like we talked about that, YouTube videos take a long time, produces any kind of content, even just shooting a pic for Instagram. You got to figure out how you want to do it, take the lighting and all that stuff, do it, edit it, put it out. So even just a simple post takes a long time.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about a YouTube video, I'm actually this year, 2021 I'm going to learn to say no a lot more often to other people.
I think
unfortunately it is. And I've read that. I've heard that too. It's like sometimes, I don't remember what it is, but anyways, you need to learn to say no.
It's a hard one.
I need to be able to do stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
And rather than, because my time is a lot more valuable. It's becoming a lot more valuable. And I want to do a lot more stuff that, which takes a lot of time.
I think we're definitely in a similar kind of mindset. Like I've not done many collabs and projects this year because I'm pushing back a bit more.
Yeah.
There was, I think one of them was Anchor this year. They'd reached out to me a couple of times and I could have quite easily said, yeah, just send it and I'll do a post on it. But I was just like, I don't need the product. And as much as you're a big brand and stuff, like like you said, it's one of those you'd easily take on and then you become their production line and you think, I don't need the product. There are certain products that I look at, certain brands I look at that I want to get in with. So of course you pick your battles and some of the ones that you want to work with, you go, oh yeah, send me it and I'll give you the world.
Exactly.
Give me that product and I'll do you 4 posts a week, whatever. But then there is, for every one of those, there is 10 other ones, which are just like, I'm going to send you something that you already have. And where am I going to put it? And it becomes more like a chain around your neck that you've got to produce this content by a certain deadline.
It becomes more of a time suck. I mean, to me, time is the most valuable product there. It becomes a time suck and things I don't care about.
Yeah. And so it's either being kind of brave enough to go, I'll do it if it's a paid job because then it's a commercial agreement, or I'm really sorry right now I don't have enough time to kind of do that for you, but maybe in the future time frees up that you keep it polite and etc. Don't just give them a flat no. But it's it's just picking your content and what you want to work with. But it's tough, man, because sometimes you go through a drought and you just think, actually, yeah, no, I'll take that because I've got nothing to do at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's the tough thing with content creators, not influencers. I like content creator.
I don't like influencers either.
No, I don't. But content creators, there is no there's no standard rule book. So, if I say no to that brand because they won't pay for my time, they'll go to 50 other content creators who will happily take it.
Yeah.
So they don't learn that people's time is valuable because there's always someone that will work for free because they've, there may be a slightly smaller account that will happily work for free and produce equally as good a content. It's just, they weigh up whether they're happy to reach 10,000 people or 50,000 people. For them to not have to pay someone, whatever amount to do it, they might go, well, I'll go with what would you call it? A micro influencer is 5,000 or less. I'll go with people with less than 5,000 followers. So there's a brand going, I'm at over 20,000. Like, your perception of when you become a big brand is, or a big account is going to get easier.
No,
but actually I think it's gone backwards.
No,
it's gone backwards because now almost, I guess people look at you and go, he's too big. He's going to want loads of money for that, without even asking you first. Whereas they go to an account with 5,000 or less that's got a really high engaged audience, and they still probably take just as good of photos. Yes, they're not going to reach as many, but it's just going to be, free to send a product out and get some awesome photos back. So why wouldn't you? So it's a tough one, really. It's finding that balancing point.
Yep. So that's kind of what you'll see for me. Well, especially on my YouTube channels, you'll see stuff that I want to work on. So right now I'm just going to catch up with some of the content that I've already agreed upon. And then after that, like, I'm going to, you'll see a lot of custom PC builds, which I'm excited about to get into, kind of more of a PC modding, kind of like this guy back here, my Black Panther PC and setup. I want to do more of that. I find it takes a lot more time, but rather than like every video every week and stuff like that, I enjoy more of the bigger products or projects. Sorry, I
think they're really enjoyable to watch. And if you're very good at recording that stuff. Again, I'm still very much a noob in recording video because I'm very impatient. Like if I get an unboxing, I've unboxed it before I've done the unboxing video. So I'm really bad at that kind of stuff. But like your projects, like, again, going back to your desk, was filmed really well. It was a really nice watch. You've probably come on so much since then, but that inspired me to go, give it a go. Build your own desk. Like, that's why I built my kitchen. That's why I bought a kitchen worktop as opposed to buying a pre-built desk, and I cut it down. And that's why I've got this desk here. Nice. And that desk is because, I'm not saying we're suddenly a DIY god, but I just cut a desk into a third.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it takes.
And what I'm hoping maybe for this desk going forward is I'm saving up for some of those hydraulic legs to make it a standing desk.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I can do a standing podcast.
Yeah.
So awesome. This little corner here, I'll have to shave the desk by about an inch on both sides and pull it out a bit. But then in theory, it could just go up, and then I could just stand and do my podcast as well. That'd be quite cool. Yeah,
it's a lot better for your, rather than sitting all day. So
exactly,
that'll be awesome. Yeah,
I can pretend I'm 6'4".
Got a stool.
Exactly. So look, I think I know for a fact you and I can talk all night because we get on so well, but it is now midnight in the UK. So I think we wrap it up here and we instruct people to go to your socials. So below this, wherever you're seeing it, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, or on YouTube, I will put Ryan or PC Battle Station's links below to Instagram, YouTube, and anywhere else Ryan wants us to direct you, maybe Twitter as well. But please do pop along and check out Ryan's socials, because he's just, as you probably heard tonight, he's just a really nice guy. He's a normal dude. He's a dad. He likes his kind of DIY. He likes to build stuff, but definitely a lot of exciting projects in the next year. And if you like to see kind of elaborate builds, like themed builds, set builds, go check out the Black Panther, go check out the cyberpunk thing. Mandalorian excites me immensely.
Yes. Yep, that's coming up. So stay tuned for that.
That's going to be a really good one. And you won't be disappointed. So thank you, Ryan, for jumping on. I hope we would do another one of these again. I know you kind of, you want to keep getting fresh guests on and stuff, but it would be an honor to get you on again, and kind of maybe after your next project, we kind of catch up again and we can kind of break it apart, and you can tell us the secrets and the builds behind the Mando build.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. I'm happy to come back on because I definitely love the podcast you got going on, and
thank you very much.
The community we have. So.
Well, that's it. So we'll see you mainly over on Instagram or YouTube. And if you've got any questions following up this podcast and want to kind of find out a bit more about what Ryan's doing, of course, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any of your DMs. So go give him a follow, give him a subscribe. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. He's an absolutely awesome dude. And I will definitely be looking forward to his next project. So Ryan, you are a gentleman. You are a great buddy. And I will look forward to reciprocating on your first YouTube launch of your new setup show.
Dream Gaming Setups.
Dream Gaming Setups. So let's just hope episode 1 isn't the nightmare.
I don't think it will be.
I'm going to take you some new photos anyway. I know the ones I sent you were nice, but there's a couple of bits that have been added since then, which just like my Nana Lisa, a different pattern. I've got the screen bar now. There's LA metric clock. There's just a few little things that have changed. So I'll take you some new photos and we'll get those over, and then I'll be very excited to jump on that with you as well.
Sounds good, buddy.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you for everyone for tuning in. As always, we will be recording another episode soon, and you will find us on the normal places. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will catch you soon. Take care, guys, and we're out. So thank you all. That is a wrap. We'll be moving on to the next episode very soon. Once again, thank you for tuning into this podcast. You can follow me over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. Every follow and listen is very much appreciated. Thank you all, and I hope to speak to you very soon on this podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show.